Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Couch GMs podcast. It is Thursday, August 20th, 2026. I'm your host, George Kurt, joined by the one and only Cody Roadcap. How you doing, Cody?
Doing pretty good. We got through 1 week of preseason, 2 weeks left. Only a couple more Wednesdays until we kick off the season. That was kind of hard to say, kind of weird to say. But yeah, how about you? How you doing?
Doing good. I mean, I think it's been a little bit of a stressful prep for the show today because we're doing something we haven't done before. Little fun teaser, but I'm looking forward to it.
Is that also the first time in Couch Jam's history that I asked you how you were doing? Out of
No, I
350
don't think
some
it was the
episodes.
first time.
Outside of an episode where I think you made me like host because you're like, we're fighting through some sickness or something like that. I feel like you normally like, how you doing? And I say my piece and then you get us into the show.
You sound like such a horrible person now.
I know. I kind of feel bad.
No, that's definitely not the first time. Don't feel too bad here. We're here to talk football anyway. We're not here to give all the pleasantries, right?
No, exactly. And speaking of football, I'm gonna do your job a little bit because I don't
Okay.
think you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
George started a fantasy football series over on TikTok, so it's a good reminder to go out and check that out. So
Thank you, sir. Yes. So I'm going over different draft strategies, which obviously is what we're doing a lot here on the show as well. Maybe not as formally as I'm doing on there, but Cody and I preaching being fluid. It doesn't hurt to know all the different ways you can build up your team, and I'm going to do a mini series on that over on TikTok and YouTube. Yes.
no, I like it for sure. So that's fun. So make sure you're checking those out. Good content.
Yes, thank you, sir. So yes, along with that, make sure you're following us at the Couch GMs there. You can go Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, Instagram there as well. And we are live on Thursdays at 6:30 East on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So you can join into the conversation as we finish up our mocks and we get closer to 2 episodes a week as we get closer to the NFL season.
Yeah. So why don't you tell people what we're doing today as we're kicking down? There's a timer that we're both watching to see how things are going, but maybe people want to know why our eyes keep drifting to the left or right. So, and why my camera keeps flashing. Who knows?
Well, I don't know why your camera keeps flashing. That one I can't tell you, but we're gonna be okay. What we're doing today is a kind of a remix off of what we did last year with our mini mocks. And when we did it at the end of the off season, we were trying to cover different scoring formats or rankings, etc. So what we're going to do this time is a spin-off of that. We're waiting on a mock draft on ESPN to try to show some different rankings. And Cody and I'll get through at least a few rounds of that. If it's going fast, we'll probably keep going. And then we're going to hop back over to Sleeper where we normally do our mocks, and we're going to do a third round reversal to kind of give some people who are in those interesting leagues or someone who's been interested in it a look at how those drafts go. And we'll do a few rounds of that. And then we're going to Cody's brilliant idea, which I think is going to be great. Our third draft, we are going to jump into a draft in round 6 after it has been auto-picked for 5 rounds. And we're going to have to save the team the best we can because, auto-pick doesn't always do the best. Maybe you miss the first few rounds of your draft, or maybe you just flop the first few rounds of your draft. And we'll show you how to fix that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good exercise on, not getting so used to playing the same style. We don't know what's going to happen. George and I are going to stay with the same picks for all 3 drafts. So at the end, we can bring them all together and do a comparison. So I'm going to be pick 10. George is going to be pick 4. And like you said, we're going to be using ESPN. And as of right now, it is a lobby full of people. I'm sure after the first couple rounds, they will bounce off. But since we can't do it versus a computer on ESPN like you can on Sleeper, none of them are sponsors, by the way. But one of them could be if they wanted to hop in. So we are going to enter the draft room now, and hopefully it's not one of those things where you have to wait another 5 minutes.
Hopefully not.
2
minutes. We're good with that. Gives me time to get through this ad that is also not one of our sponsors and get this up on the screen for us and figure out how the heck this draft room looks compared to the ones that we're used to, because it is quite a bit different, actually.
Yep, and that's another reason why we're doing this mini mock draft series. Sorry, I was trying to clear that.
Cody.
For you, just so that you can kind of see different platforms. You get invited to a league, they use a platform you're not used to and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It'll be a little bit different because George's gonna have to back and forth between making his pick and the draft board for you guys. But And unlike our normal drafts, when we get to sleeper, we'll have more time to talk about it, but we are probably going to have to fly through these just based on how everything's going. And like I mentioned, some people are already bouncing out. So we're going to have some auto picks. We're going to have some real players in there, give it a little bit of real world situation.
Definitely. And yeah, like Cody said, with I believe these mock draft timers are going to be like 20 to 30 seconds. So Cody and I are just going to be rapid firing off some picks and talking before or after. But I think the big thing that we're looking at on this ESPN draft, because it's not far different from the format that we have done on Sleeper in the past. That was sound from the draft. I'm sorry if that came through.
I was on my screen, but I don't know if that came through or not. So
I'm not sure. But the biggest thing is we're trying to see how different the rankings are. And honestly, in the top here, just looking, it doesn't look too different compared to what we're used to on Sleeper so far.
George, you're up. 30 seconds.
And Bijan fell to me at 4, so not complaining.
Oh,
and I am not doing this switch between pick history and players. I am sorry if that is annoying, because I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know if it's doing it on Cody's screen or not.
Nope, I'm just stuck on players, so I don't know why it's flipping for you. That would drive me crazy. I'd leave the draft, but
well, we'll see how bad it gets here. But Cody's going to be up in the first round. Gibbs, JSN, Chase, Bijan were the first 4. Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Puka, Justin Jefferson for the first 8 picks. I'm not going to be able to do this the entire time, but I might as well keep people updated that are just listening in for the first round. And then Amon-Ra before Cody.
Yep. So Amon-Ra went. That leaves CeeDee Lamb at the top of my board, so I'm going to take him. I will hold for 20 seconds so I can kind of talk through this a little bit. And then, so I took CeeDee Lamb, and then we ended the second round. And at the top of my next pick, I'm going to get a running back here. Devon Achane will be my pick. So I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane. You know, they were the best available. I still like that value.
No, I like that a lot too. And don't feel bad about just taking best available when you're this far up on the board. A lot of times that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I don't know if it was auto picks or what that kind of had those Jackson Smith and Jigba go too, but that was the weirdest thing that we've seen.
I mean, some people think he's going to, run it back. And I think the running backs are still like I would have taken Bijan there. But I know a lot of people, I think the Jackson Smith and Jigba going 2 versus Puka going 7. Like, I've seen a lot of people have Puka ahead of him. I've seen Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Puka definitely going before CMC and Jonathan Taylor. So I think that's the most interesting thing about these rankings and this how it's played out so far. And George is back on the clock.
I am. And I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing otherwise here is, I think this kind of goes close to along when we were talking about Saquon potentially being a sleeper. He's down at 18 on ESPN, and I have him closer to like 12, 13. So I think he's the best guy left on the board, at least in my mind. So I'm going to go double running back on this. We're going to see how it builds.
No, I like that. And just to get you guys caught up before George's next pick, after Achane for me, went Ashton Genty, which is kind of high compared to what we've been seeing. Drake London, James Cook, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry. That's where George took Saquon Barkley, followed by Ken Walker, Jeremiah Love, Brock Bowers to round out round 2. So we get our first tight end in round 2 of a 10-man PPR lock. Amari Hampton, Trey McBride, so the second tight end to kick it off. And then George is on deck with one more pick between him and some of the top players available as George is now on the clock. Breece Hall, Nico Collins, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, A.J. Brown.
I'm interested how low Josh Allen is here, because my immediate thought was, do I go 0 wide receiver and sneak Josh Allen in here and just go crazy? But I have a chance that he at least falls back around, so he's all the way down to 36. So I'm going to go best receiver available, Nico Collins.
Yeah, and I think that's a good pick, especially with the news of Jaden Higgins tearing his ACL in practice this past week. I know George has been a flyer on Tank Dell kind of guy. I think that also helps that in the late rounds. But Jaden Higgins, that's a tough blow for the Houston Texans, but he is going to make some time, which should make Nico Collins even more valuable.
Definitely. The first thing I thought was, oh, wow, Tank Dell last round pick might not be too bad. So I'm glad you brought that up.
No, for sure. But after your pick was Javonte Williams, A.J. Brown, and we're waiting here. I'm about 3 picks away.
This is moving pretty fast already, so there's a chance we can at least mostly go through this draft.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to get through, because I feel like more people, after like a couple rounds, more people will bounce out and we're going to get closer and closer. I'm on deck here. Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, George Pickens, Teddy McMillan is the best five. Zay Flowers, Devonta Smith, Josh Allen are right there after him. I took Achane and I took CeeDee Lamb. So that takes, with Lamb out, that takes Pickens off my board here. I know there's some question marks about the legal situation and whatnot, but I think getting Josh Jacobs the end of round 3, I think that value is too good to pass up. So he'll be my first pick. I'm really tempted to go Malik Neighbors here, just because again, another value, but with the injury, I understand why it's a little bit concerning. Or it's, if I want to go a little bit safer on a worse, Tedero McMillan. I'm going to go Tedero McMillan. I think I probably should have went Malik Neighbors, but I played a little bit safe just in case there was the suspension looming for Josh Jacobs, and now I'm not trying to fill 2 spots if Malik Neighbors isn't ready to go week 1.
I don't mind that pick. I do think with the Malik Neighbors thing and him not having been put on PUP and he's been practicing and stuff, you're still technically getting him an injury discount because he was closer to like earlier round 3, maybe leaking into round 2 if he didn't have any injury issue, and then him going in beginning of round 4. So there's a lot of guys I've heard like that's been the like injury discounts kind of been like a buzzword, I think, going around recently, where it's like CMC's banged up, you're not getting him at a discount. Devontae Smith's been banged up, you haven't gotten him at a discount, et cetera, et cetera. But like Malik Neighbors is someone you are getting at a discount.
Yeah. And George is on the clock here while he makes his pick. I'll read you the after McMillan was Neighbors, Travis Etienne, Kyron Williams, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers. So George can make his pick whenever he is ready.
Josh Allen falling way down the board to round 4 feels too good.
No, I like that pick a lot. I know looking back, I was hoping Chris Olave fell. If I could have got Chris Olave, Josh Jacobs on the turn, I would have liked that a lot better than Tedero McMillan. I think that's a good pick. I like the value of Josh Allen in round 4, even though we're typically late round quarterback guys. Cam Scatteraboo, George Pickens falling all the way to 4.9. I think that's a good steal. And then Jalen Waddle at 4.10.
And then we had next round start Ladd McConkey, Devontae Adams, and Emeka Ibuka. I'm still trying to catch up on wide receiver now because I only took one in those first 4 rounds. Terry McLaurin's not a bad pick there. I think I like him as wide receiver 1 potential better than T. Higgins and Rome Odunze. You know, I'm not a Rome Odunze guy. So I'm going to go Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin's always the guy in fantasy. We haven't talked a lot about him, but he's always the guy in fantasy. I'm like, yeah, I get that he's good, but I'm never excited when I have him.
I very rarely have taken him for that similar reason. But I think when we've now gotten to the point where if he stays healthy in round 5, he probably is your best option. I know that's still a question too, though. I mean, he missed how much time last year?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I am 1 pick
Rome
away.
Odunze, Colston Loveland, Bashil Tootin, Quinshawn Judkins. We're 1 pick away from Cody. Just wanted to
and T. Higgins is still on the board, and that's the guy I'm hoping survives to me. Yeah. Bucky Irving is there. Tyler Warren, Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Carnell Tate. Then we get some quarterbacks. But if T. Higgins falls, which he did,
Tyler Warren went, so yes.
So I'm going to take T. Higgins, and then similar to George, I am going to go early quarterback here because I can get Lamar Jackson in round 6.
So I think what we're seeing here is we preach late round quarterback, but maybe in some leagues or in some rankings, these quarterbacks are going late enough. These early quarterbacks are going late enough that we feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, and some leagues, like there'll be leagues that 5 quarterbacks have gone by round 5. There'll be some 100%. Leagues that, like our league of record, like this is more like our league of record, like because everyone likes to take late round quarterbacks. So then you're getting to the point of like, okay, end of round 4, Josh Allen, like that seems like a fun value. So I like how this draft is going so far. Recap my team real quick: CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs, Tedero McMillan, T. Higgins, Lamar Jackson. And I think I've even seen rankings where like T. Higgins is higher than Tedero McMillan. I'm going to check that when we do Sleeper, but I'm pretty sure he is on Sleeper. So like a round discount from a different platform for getting a guy like T. Higgins, I think is really good value.
I don't like this part of the board for me. I am gonna go Travion Henderson. It's interesting to me. Both New England running backs are back to back on ESPN, and then there's Jadarian Price in that mix too. And I just wasn't a big fan of a lot of the wide receivers in this section.
No, I completely agree with that. And to get people caught up again, obviously I took Lamar at the top of round 6. Bucky Irving went 6'2", Jaden Daniels 6'3", David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore. George took the aforementioned Travion Henderson. Jameson Williams, Drake May, Luther Burden to round out round 6. Round 7, Parker Washington, Ramondre Stevenson, and then one more pick before George is on the clock.
And that pick was Jadarian Price. So it comes back to me looking at wide receivers again. Carnell Tate, Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman, Marvin Harrison. Alec Pierce is sitting here but injured.
I feel like these wide receivers feel a little bit better than a round ago, just for like value-wise.
Yeah, like I felt like I was reaching on Cortland Sutton before. I don't feel quite as much that way now. Same with Pittman. I already took Pittman in a different mock. I'm going to take Cortland Sutton in this one. Yeah.
No, I like that one. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. should have been in play, but even Michael Wilson, who's even further down on the list, but just what he put up last year, I think that would be an interesting name as well.
And because Cody recapped his team so far for me through 7 picks, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, Josh Allen, Terry McLaurin, Travion Henderson, and Cortland Sutton. So I did finally even myself out at wide receiver.
Yeah. Oh, and just so everyone knows too at home, there will be kickers and defense in that. Obviously, we couldn't change the settings like we can in sleeper. So this will be the only time you get to see us draft a kicker. Maybe.
Defense might happen again. We'll see. Kempy's in control of the mock next week. If you liked our chaos mock from last year, he might do something funny.
Yeah. All right. So I'm on deck here. The Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Pittman are still at the top of the board. Alex Pierce as well, DK Metcalf. Those wide receivers are good, but I think even a little bit lower have some better value, whether that's Mike Evans, Christian Watson, Michael Wilson, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers. I know there's some injury concerns. There's the whole, substation, whatever they got out there. Couldn't say the word. But I'm going to take Mike Evans. I think his value here, a little bit old, reliable. And then I'm going to pair that with a young and up-and-comer. I believe I'm going to – part of me wants to take – I'm going to pair the Mike Evans with the Cody, you're tilting so much here. I'm going to pair him with the Brian Thomas bounce back.
And in round 8, and as your 5th wide receiver, you can definitely afford to make that pick.
Yeah, I scrolled quickly to look at the running backs because I only took 2 so far.
Yeah.
And that could definitely be the position, which, surprise, I favor the wide receivers, that I might tend to not appreciate as much, but I'm going to try to pick them up with my next couple picks.
Yeah, I remember you saying we were talking late round flyers. You're like, all these late round wide receivers are like, it's weird finding late round wide receivers to me because I'm used to finding value at running back in the late rounds. And It's good too because it gives us more diversity. I'm usually the one who takes running backs early. You're the one that takes receivers early. Kind of works out for the listeners then who can hear both perspectives.
Yeah. And like, I think also too, one thing we don't talk about too much is about like knowing your league and how active they are in the trade market. I mean, I feel like it goes ebbs and flows. I feel like some years, even our league of record will have 50 trades, and then next year we'll have 3. So like it's a year-to-year basis. But sometimes, like, especially like picking pick 10, where you have that double up opportunity, it might not always feel like the most balanced. But if you're in a league that's active and willing to make trades, like it's okay to take 2 of the same positions, thinking, hey, I might try to trade one of these guys in the near future, or I'll have this piece if I need to go get the position I didn't take later.
That's very true. And you know your league better than us, obviously. So if you know that it's always active on the trade market, that's a way to attack it as well.
Yeah, and just rapid fire trades. It eventually one will eventually get accepted, and then the whole league will be upset.
That's very true. Oh man. Yeah, these
So,
rankings in this part are very different, and I just can't quite pinpoint how. Some quarterbacks are higher than they are in other. Like, look at Matt Stafford up there.
yeah, Matt Stafford's pretty high. I mean, Travis Hunter seems very high. Xavier Worthy seems high. That's a guy we've been talking about late round flyers for a while. So
I'll try to quick rapid fire us catch it up. After Brian Thomas in the beginning of the 8th round, it was Joe Burrow, Michael Pittman, Dak Prescott, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf. I took Michael Wilson, and then it came back with Sam Laporta, Marvin Harrison, and Jackson Dart to round out 8. 9 started with Pierce, and then Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence. I took Jaden Reed. And then we had George Kittle and Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Matt Stafford. Back to Cody.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, good one to call out. Just because he's a guy that has been going so late when we've been over on Sleeper. There is a couple wide receivers at the top that are pretty interesting, but I'm going to get my guy Tucker Kraft here, get my tight end starter. I like that. The end of round 9. Then I'm going to go to the running back position here. Couple names that are interesting: Rico Dotto, Tony Pollard, Kenny Gainwell, Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins are kind of the guys at the top of the list. I like the Jonathan Brooks aspect of it, but because I took Tet McMillan, let me go with an old reliable and Tony Pollard.
I think that's the right way to go with the way your running back room is built, because you grabbed yourself likely a starter.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to try to get one more guy that we knew was going to start. I mean, he might not start the whole season just because, he's probably in his last year in Tennessee. Maybe they'll get their young guys. Maybe Tajay Spears will finally break out. Maybe whichever Penn State running back they have, I get them confused as a rookie this year. So I don't
just
mind
signed
that.
the Ernest Johnson too, and I'm pretty sure their rookie running back's hurt. So, Okay. Do I have a tight end yet? I do not. This going fast and trying to talk in the middle has been tough. I'm going to go Travis Kelce.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just had to pick a sound effect.
Oh, okay.
5 years ago, incredible value.
Yeah.
It is crazy to I feel like they're tight end. I mean, obviously Kelce, but there's Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, like those guys. It is so hard to, not want to take them just because of what they were, but they're definitely on, the second half of their careers. Maybe I should have looked at Mark Andrews as kind of like a little stack with Lamar Jackson, but I feel like there is a clear difference between Mark Andrews and Tucker Kraft at this point in their career.
And I know he's banged up now, but I just took Chuba in round 11 with Brooks going in round 10. That feels like even more of an overreaction than it's becoming on Sleeper.
Yeah, you might be right on that one too. I mean, I noticed that Chuba, they were ranked pretty similarly too. Man, I was really hoping I could get Blake Corum to fall to me. He went 2 picks after you took Chuba as a guy to, take a flyer on at the running back position. But I am on the clock. I got 20 seconds, and I'm not even on the players tab. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
No, you're good. I'll talk for a second because since I just did the zero running back video, I did try to come up with a couple of people that are good to grab this part. And you didn't go zero running back, but you're trying to catch up on running back. And Pollard's not a bad one, but I mentioned Jonathan Brooks, who normally goes this late. Honestly, Chuba down here, if he's still there, is a good point. Blake Corum was a big one. Kenny Gainwell because of his pass catching upside, and then I think Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt or pick your Washington guy would probably be the other.
All right. And because I did go light on the running back, I went back to back here as well. I went Jonah Coleman. I took the rookie over J.K. Dobbins as a high upside kind of play. And then I did the same in Minnesota with Jordan Mason. I know he hasn't been, it wasn't the best in opportunities last year. Aaron Jones is still there, but there's another opportunity for a starting running back. So now I feel like I flipped from, having an okay, liking my starters and not feeling good about my depth to balancing out my depth to I feel like I have some good places to go into the season.
This is moving so fast now that I'm just
Yeah, like everybody's like on auto pick. So if you got to shut
exactly.
up and make your pick, I completely understand. I'll
Yeah.
try
I
to
mean, I
talk.
got J.K. Dobbins after you took the rookie.
Yep.
Tank Dell's pretty far up here.
I saw that too. I was waiting to see how high you saw it for him as well.
I'm not taking him because I took Nico Collins at the top, but I took Deshaun Stribling. I was kind of hoping Debo would fall down to me, but Stribling probably has more upside.
Yeah, I would agree with that at this point. Oh, buddy.
Um, I'm
I'm
also
all
just trying to figure out exactly here where I'm at. So I'm at 5 running backs. I have the tight end. I have the quarterback. Yeah, getting your bearings a little bit.
yeah, I'm gonna take this guy. He's not even on the rankings on Sleeper unless he's jumped up with my next pick. Caleb Douglas kind of been like the training camp star for the Miami Dolphins, and we know they need a wide receiver. So did I just get a starting wide receiver at
Maybe.
the end of the draft here? I am going to peek over here and kind of see where we're at because we are taking defenses. I am going to get ahead of this, and I'm going to take the Houston Texans defense. And I'm going to start that off maybe a round earlier, but I think they're going to be one of the best defenses in the league. Them or the Rams, depending if Aaron Donald comes. I don't think it just matters if Aaron Donald. They're the top two I would go after. But with that defensive line, sacks being so important in fantasy football, I really like the Houston Texans DST this year.
You started the defense run.
I figured I was going to.
Yeah. So I guess I'll take my last stab at somebody here. And I was trying to stay on the draft board as long as I could, just to keep the people watching understanding. I'll go Rashid Shaheed.
Okay, that's a guy you've liked so far.
And honestly, at this point, because all of the defenses at the top are gone, I can have fun and take Brandon Aubrey.
You're gonna take the best kicker.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that.
It's in the last 2 rounds. I have to take defense and kicker to end it here, and there's no point in me. I'd be jumping 2 people that didn't take a defense basically yet, 3. So I might as well take the best kicker.
That is definitely not a bad pick. I was like, Cam Little goes 2 as the second kicker. I am on the clock here with my last 2 picks in this draft. Now, this is my pro tip, so to speak, with not drafting a kicker. So I'm not going to take a kicker here. I am going to take a couple more flyers. The first one is Jordan Tyson. Now, I know he is most likely going to miss the first month of the season with that hamstring injury. However, I expect him to go on IR at cutdown day, that he's eligible to come back. Means he'll go into my IR spot, and then I will take a kicker at that point. My draft is only showing kickers, though, so that's very frustrating at this point. Is it going to make me take a kicker?
That's really annoying.
Okay, it's going to make me take a kicker here. So give me the Dicker kicker. But that's really dumb.
So ESPN must not allow you to leave a spot empty coming out of the draft, or it may just be a mock draft thing.
Yeah. So in hindsight, I would have taken a different player there, but it is what it is. I like that. But I can recap. So I know that last couple rounds definitely flew by.
Yeah.
But I can recap my team. George can recap his team, and then we can get set up for the next draft because we're doing more than one today. My team though was CeeDee Lamb. All right, let me read it roster wise. I think that's better. Quarterback Lamar Jackson, running backs Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Jonah Coleman, Jordan Mason, and then wide receivers CeeDee Lamb, Ted Heroic, McMillan, T Higgins, Mike Evans, Brian Thomas Jr., Cam Douglas, and Jordan Tyson. Tight end Tucker Kraft, Dicker kicker, and the Texans DST. Honestly, one of my favorite teams I've ever drafted, other than the fact that I had to take a kicker with my last pick, but it is what it is.
And then I had Josh Allen with Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelsey, Travion Henderson, and the Chargers defense, and Brandon Aubrey. Sorry, I ended up reading mine by starting roster, not by position. My bad. Cortland Sutton, Michael Wilson, Jaden Reed, the receivers, Deshaun, Stribling, and Rashid Shaheed. Sorry, those are receivers on the bench. And then it's Chuba Hubbard and J.K. Dobbins as well. I don't mind this one as well. I do think I kind of fell behind at receiver, but I did think I found some decent upside in the late round. So I like it because I think quarterback and running back will just carry the team.
No, I think that is solid. I think there's some good picks here. George, if you want to start setting up the screen for the next one, I can just kind of talk about the draft board as a whole and real quick as I'm scanning through these teams. Team, what is that? 7. They went 5 running backs in the first 6 rounds. That's an interesting strategy there. So their wide receiver, they went that hero wide receiver strategy with Puka Nakua. And then their other wide receivers are Carnell Tate, Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy, Stephon Diggs. So they're going for some high upside there, but that's definitely an interesting build. In this one, I think team 1, despite getting a tight end in the second round, I think their team is pretty interesting as well. I like the Gibbs Hampton stack, and then having your wide receivers be Waddle, McConkey, Burden, and Parker Washington would definitely be some names to pay attention to. And I have to peek back over to see how close George is ready to go.
I am ready to go here. Let me see. Sorry, apparently I have too many sleeper tabs open.
He can't figure out which one it is, this guy.
Okay. Hi, Nova. You're going to step on my keyboard and make everything go crazy.
All righty. So this is the one, like George, is this the third round reversal?
This is the third round reversal.
Okay. 13 rounds. We might sim after like round 10 or something like that, depending on time. But we will play it by ear just to see how this goes. So, George, whenever you're ready, I think we can kick this off.
All right. So this is also a full PPR, similar roster to how we usually go. Gibbs, Robinson, Puka before me, and I think this is a slam dunk Jamar Chase. Not much to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You were team, what were you, team 4 and got Bijan Robinson last time. Last round in ESPN, Jackson Smith and Jigba went 2. He fell all the way to 7 here. Because after Jamar Chase went Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, Jackson Smith and Jigba, CeeDee Lamb, James Cook, and now I am back on the clock here. And
sorry about my fire station.
Oh, I was like, what is, I'm like, tornado warning? Is that what's going on right now? Completely whiffed on here. I'm looking at the top of my board. Jonathan Taylor sitting there, and I feel like that's the no-brainer pick for me. I feel like he's gotten higher, so I feel like him falling to 10 is really good value. Then I wonder if I do the same strategy and take Devon Achane with my next pick here, like I did in the first draft. Or if I want to do something different and take a guy like Justin Jefferson and hope that he has a bounce back. To stay somewhat consistent, I'm going to take Achane, especially since it's full point PPR. And I kind of want to see what my team looks like third round reversal if I take 2 running backs, which is very odd for me.
Yeah, that's definitely a different build that I'm used to doing, but you can now, not think about running back for a long time. And it's now, also we're thinking about you're going to get the benefit of the third round reversal. I'm going to be one of the teams that's most hurt by the third round reversal. So you have a chance to get a solid receiver out of here. And me, I have to probably force running back a little bit more just because I have a longer turn than I usually do here. But that's fine because I have Chase Brown sitting here, who I also really like as my running back 1. Problem is I have Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that is a problem.
So with that, I can go Ken Walker or I can go Derrick Henry. And honestly, that's kind of a toss-up to me. I've taken Henry before. I'll take Ken Walker.
I like that one. I think Ken Walker's going to have a good season in Kansas City. So after that was Drake London, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry. So the guys that George was debating. If Drake London could have fell, I would have hit the home run on the third round reversal. But now that I now that we switch and I have the top pick in round 3, I'm looking at the wide receivers here. I could go tight end with the Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, one of them if
You
I
can
wanted
make
to.
this full zero wide receiver, which is really unlike you.
I definitely could. Don't tempt me with not a fun time. George Pickens and Nico Collins are the two that I'm debating between. And like I talked about in the last show, Nico Collins being there, one of the better receivers, the Jaden Higgins injury, I really like him. George, you've intrigued me. I'm going Trey McBride.
Trey McBride at 301 is a solid pick. And I think you'll be able to find enough wide receiver depth later.
Yeah. And honestly, if the PPR thing makes guys like Brock Bauer, like normally I say don't pay it. Like if you play half point PPR or full point PPR, don't put too much stock into it. But at the full point PPR, the tight end position, I think only increases the high volume guys like McBride, like Bowers, like potentially a Colson Loveland, Tyler Warren, George Kittle when healthy, like the guys that might see 10 targets a game on a regular basis. That's when I like to take them early when I'm playing PPR.
I like that, Cody. I am back up, and this is kind of where I'm looking like there's a group of guys that I like here. And at receiver, it's Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Chris Olave. At running back, it's Kyron Williams and Josh Jacobs. So it's like I should probably take the wide receiver. But do I like but because I like more wide receivers, do I take one of the running backs and hope that they fall? So I'm kind of looking at team build behind me. 1 and 2 are probably taking at least one wide receiver because they have 2 running backs, and team 3 is probably taking at least 1 running back.
You think?
You'd think. It doesn't always work that way. Running backs are hard to come by. I'm going to hope one of those receivers falls to me. I'm going to take Kyron.
I don't mind that at all.
And this seems to be working out for me.
Yeah.
And it didn't, but I still have a solid wide receiver choice. So after me was Malik Neighbors, Lamar Jackson, Josh Jacobs, and then starting out with Nico Collins, Chris Olave, and Javonte Williams.
Oh, I almost said George. I think it worked out for you too. Like I think T. Higgins in round 4 is like really good value. And then I look and see who your first round pick was. And I'm like, oh, now you're really in the Devonta Smith, Ladd McConkey situation. Or you can take the guy that you were completely out on last week. Maybe you've changed in Breece Hall. I don't know.
No, especially because I don't really want the third running back at this point either. Not that there's anything wrong with it in the 2 flex, but
yeah,
this is the second time already this draft that I've regretted having Jamar Chase. And it's not a regret of having Jamar Chase. I don't want to make it sound like that way, but there's so many solid players on Cincinnati that happen to just fall right back around into my lap at this pick that has been frustrating.
No, I think that is definitely a good point. I really don't have much, like, I don't have the button ready. I feel like Ladd McConkey in a PPR is the most enticing, especially since Keenan Allen's now in Indianapolis Colt. And I said it last year when he got signed, they both play the slot. It's going to eat into Ladd McConkey. I don't know what that means with the new offensive coordinator, but I think he is definitely a guy that could bounce back. He might be a guy that I'm trying to pick as, you know, a potential wide receiver for me because I'm definitely going to need one. T. Higgins, I think, is the tier above, but again, you have Jamar Chase. So I don't know if this is early enough to say take T. Higgins and maybe I'll trade him for Chris Olave if I throw in another player or something like that, like down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked about this in previous too. Like, you can say T. Higgins is a tier above. I kind of have him in the same tier as McConkey and Devontae Smith, but if I had to put someone at the top, I almost feel like Devontae Smith has just as much or more upside with him being wide receiver 1 now. The only thing you argue is his quarterback situation, but that's all. That still puts him in the same situation as Ted. Like, how much upside, as good as, you know, the Panthers offense was at times last year. I'm going to go Devontae Smith just to see how this builds out, but they're an interesting group.
Yeah, I get that. It's a guy that would expect to have number one volume versus number two.
Yeah.
But the Bengals throw it all over the place. The other guys might not. I think that's definitely a thing we'll have to pay attention to. But after Smith went T. Higgins, Brees Hall, Lad McConkey, and Mekabuka, Tedero McMillan, and leaves me in a terrible spot for someone that needs a wide receiver.
What, 1,300 yards, Zay Flowers, and hope he gets touchdowns?
So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to take the Zay Flowers and hope he gets peppered with targets.
Yep.
And then I'm going to take the guy to balance him out that doesn't get a bunch of targets but gets a bunch of touchdowns, and Devontae Adams. So my they complement each other really well. So I'll take that. Maybe a little high for Devontae Adams, but the other wide receivers on the board at the time were Jalen Waddle, which some people would say take him, Luther Burden, Terry
I think has been overinflated.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'll do it. Mm-hmm. If George can take a homer pick, I can take a homer pick.
Yes, you can. And then here, so after you was Colston Loveland, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Cam Scattaboo, and Travis Etienne. And you kind of said it, like some people would say take Jalen Waddle on that turn, and I would have thought about Jalen Waddle on that turn, but because he's still here, I'm going to take him.
Yeah. Maybe he'll do wonders in Denver. TBD.
It is possible. And then after that was David Montgomery, Tyler Warren, Drake May, and then Luther Burden, Jameson Williams, and DeAndre Swift started out round 6. And then I'm sitting here and I can go Travion Henderson again if I'd like.
You could. I think I would take the other second running back just to be a little bit different. If you were looking running back when Quinshon Judkins, but obviously that Browns offense might be terrible. So
the Browns offense might be terrible, and I think that's what really hurts Quinshon Judkins. But at the same time, like I love his upside and his ability, but I'm going to do something, the third option, and I'm going to stack Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow.
I do not mind that at all. That was a good one. I was starting to think quarterback, and I'm like, no, I took my 10 in early, so I definitely have to go quarterback late here. It's too valuable of assets to give up for those top spots. But after that was
third Bengal to fall into my lap at that pick, by the way. Fourth, I guess, technically.
Yeah. 2 you've taken. Quinshon Judkins, DJ Moore, Sam Laporta, Mike Evans, Travion Henderson. Go right back. Interesting sleeper was listening to take Judkins over Henderson as well. For me, sitting here, there is the Terry McLaurin as the top wide receiver, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, if I wanted to go in that situation. Obviously, I'm not taking Tucker Kraft at this point because I already took McBride. I think I am going to go. I'm going to double up at wide receiver again. So I took the hero running backs. I'm going to double up at wide receiver. I'm going to take Rome Odunze. I think he is being undervalued as as much as I like Luther Burden. I think people are forgetting how good he was at the beginning of the year, and maybe we're putting a little bit too much stock in that foot injury. And if we are, and it's absolutely right, then I'll eat those words. But then I'm also going to take a guy I haven't not taken one single time here, but another wide receiver one on maybe an up-and-coming team in Carnell Tate.
He's someone I have not gotten myself to draft yet, but I feel like there's going to be a point when we get into this like section of wide receivers that I'm going to get myself to do it.
No, for sure. But after that was DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Bayshell Tootin, Jaden Daniels, Kyle Pitts, and George is back on the clock. Looking at the bet available, not seeing anyone that says CIN next to their name. So I think, George, you are good to go.
I think we're basically through the Cincinnati players at this point that are going to be drafted.
You don't want Mike Gesicki?
I mean, maybe as a last round flyer, but I don't think he's normally drafted.
I don't think so either.
All right. So 2 running backs on the roster right now with Ken Walker and Kyron Williams. I can look at that position. I see Jadarian Price, Jalen Warren, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard going way earlier on this than he did in the other. That's like 3 whole rounds, honestly. But Jadarian Price, I'm pretty sure going later, and I don't mind the value of him in round 7. So I think I'm going to go there.
No, I like that like that pick a lot. Uh, so Jadarian Price gets the role that Ken Walker left. You still have Ken Walker on a different team. I think
Yep.
that's good. Jalen Hurts went right after that. Marvin Harrison Jr. went much higher than he did in the ESPN rankings, and then Tucker Kraft to round out round 7. Round 8 is another Packer and Christian Watson. Parker Washington follows him up, followed by RJ Harvey, and George is back on the clock.
Turn of double Packer.
I like it.
Darian Price only went like 3 picks off at the end of the ESPN. I was just wrong about that. Chuba Hubbard a lot higher. Harold Fannin is another situation where it's like I like some of the pieces on Cleveland. I just don't think I don't know how much I like them. I'm concerned because of how efficient they're going to be.
George's like, I hate this pick.
Yeah, I'm tilting super bad. This is the part of the board where I'm like, I can reach for Michael Wilson again.
Yeah, and I also like looking at this, like, if I'm looking at your teams too, like, I don't think there's any, like, first thing when I start to tilt, I think, do I regret taking the quarterback? And then I look at the guys that went after him, like, nah, I don't think I regret taking him. So, like, then it's do you regret? You can't go too high because then you're like, oh, maybe I should have taken this person over this person, but that's too hard to evaluate. For me, there is one name on the top that I think is interesting for your team on how it's built out. And then I also wanted to point out Jordan Tyson still being up here in 77 on Sleeper when he was my second to last pick in ESPN.
Yeah. I'm thinking that the person that's interesting to you has got to be one of 2 people. It's either Chuba or Brian Thomas.
Yep, that would be correct.
So what I'll say is I feel like I don't know if this is a flaw or if it's just me kind of like going through. I feel like when I get to this middle part of the draft, when I have a situation, I'm tilting. I kind of feel like I'm in the dead zone. I tend to lead towards running back and try to get another dart throw at somebody who has a shot to be a fringe starter or be someone that could play off the bench, as opposed to going receiver. And I don't know if that's the right or the wrong way to think about it.
I got one. So if you're thinking that way, fringe starter, full PPR, no Kenny Gainwell in Pittsburgh. Do you like Jaylen Warren at all? Fringe starter, PPR upside with no Kenny Gainwell. He's sitting right there above Chuba Hubbard on the current best available. That'd be the only other interesting name. Hearing what you're looking
how
for.
How much stock do we put in Rico Dowdle there?
Well, I think we said fringe starter. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's how much stock do you put in Jonathan Brooks?
Fair.
Like, I think I trust Jaylen Warren catching the ball more than I do Rico Dowdle.
That's a fair statement because it would be the other way in the other backfield. So if you're looking for pass catching upside, that's true. I like that thinking. I'll go Jaylen Warren. We'll see how it breaks out. And then it also gives me the 4 running backs where I can now kind of ignore that position unless someone I really love falls to me.
Alrighty. So after you went Caleb Williams, Brian Thomas, Dak Prescott, Harold Fanning, Chuba Hubbard. So I couldn't even have talked you out of Chuba Hubbard for him to fall to me. So that didn't work there. I still could use another running back here. I mean, I already have a bench wide receiver at this point, so I don't need to go on the wide receiver situation. I was hoping Caleb would have fallen just for him. I could take the quarterback here. I'm going to be picky and take him in round 9 just because to say I took him even later. And I get to play the game in that situation here. I'm looking at the running backs situation. I don't love many of them. The Ramondre Stevenson, I know he's going to be the early down guy. Tony Pollard, still another fringe starter, but I just took him in the last draft, so I want to kind of do something different. Say the same thing about J.K. Dobbins. How low do I go? Do I take the Blake Corum upside? Probably not here. I think that's a little bit too early for him.
I think him and Kenny Gainwell are 2 of my favorites left on the board, and it's a little bit of a stretch to go that far right now.
Yeah. I could do the Jonathan Brooks thing. I know he was much higher in ESPN. I should really take a running back here, but I don't know if I want to.
See, the only problem is, I mean, taking the fifth receiver is fine, but it's like you have a. What are the odds they actually touch your roster at any point?
So the name Michael Wilson is the one that's staring me in the face.
It's fair. And I guess
And
the way you can look at it is you took a flyer on a rookie in the previous round. So if that completely busts on you, you have a shot.
just because out of curiosity, I want to see what can happen. I am going to take Michael Wilson because I think he's the best available.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go quarterback, and I am going. Do I go? Oh man, I'm debating between three names.
Okay.
There's Justin Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
which people love. New offense, new scheme. What does he do? Matt Stafford for the stack with Devontae Adams. I don't know
Nice
if
to see
that's.
him raise above an ADP 100, by the way.
I do like that too. And then there's Jackson Dart, which I've already seen him laying appeared to be dead on the during the preseason. So like, how much can I trust him to stay healthy? But I think he has the high upside because they are going to run him, and he is going to do that as well.
So you see where I would think here, if you're going to look strictly upside, and I mean, it's tough because you're going to have to play catch up at running back, and it would be ideal for you to do running backs double on the next turn. I almost don't hate going Jackson Dart, and then in round 11, the back half of your next turn, getting like Stafford if he's still there, Mahomes, Purdy, Nick, something like that.
All right, I don't take him often. I'm gonna take Jackson Dart.
I just don't. I personally, I don't like taking Dart and being like, I'm going to be fine. Like I like to back him up. So I'm interested to see how you back him up, or if you do. But the upside in round 9 is there.
No, I like that. After me was Cortland Sutton, Ramondre Stevenson, Jordan Tyson, Rico Dotto, Tony Pollard, and George is back on the clock.
All right. I don't have a tight end yet, and this is where I love sitting here in round 9, seeing that name George Kittle here, and I'm going to take him.
No, that's good. He might start the season on PUP. We'll have to wait and see about that. But that you can
I
stream for a
can
little bit.
follow him up as well here.
Yes, you could. Only one went after you. Alex Pierce went, then J.K. Dobbins, Mekhi Lemon finish out round 9. Kyle Monungai, Chris Godwin, Dalton Kincaid, and then George is back on the clock.
I'm just kind of peeking back at the old other board too, because I feel like Michael Pittman went crazy higher than this too.
I
Maybe
think he
I'm
did.
wrong.
No, I took a screenshot of it. I can pull it up if you want to make your pick.
Um. All right, so he's here. I do like the idea of Blake Corum, but I don't know if I like the idea of Blake Corum with having Kyron on the team. I mean, there's a chance that it might be like, oh, you could start both of them, like we used to start both Detroit Lions running backs, but I don't know
Gibbs
how
Montgomery.
much. Yeah, that would be a pretty bold strategy, but at the same time, we're talking about round 10. How bold is it?
No, that's a valid point.
And I already do have the extra running back, so I'm going to peak to wide receiver, and I think I'm between Michael Pittman. I just can't get on the Jacoby Myers bandwagon this year. Same with Jordan Addison, or Quentin Johnston. Or I'm going a little further down, and it's not really that much of a reach, but going to Josh Downs, especially because he's the healthy one in that offense that I think has some big play potential. Because I've taken Pittman before, and I don't remember if I've taken Downs. I'm going to take Downs and go a little bit of a reach.
No, that's okay. Downs, no pun intended, moved down for me when they signed Keenan Allen because they're both slot players.
Fair.
So I will say that, but this is a round 10 flyer. Don't mind it at all. Jacoby Myers, Michael Pittman, Blake Corum, Justin Herbert, Jordan Addison leaves me here. What I do like is not a ton of running backs went for me. Obviously, Kenny Gainwell is still there. As George mentioned, for my last pick was someone that was higher. I like taking Jonathan Brooks at this point. I think that is good value, so I will do that. And then I do want to take one more running back to kick this off. And let's take Kenny Gainwell just because of the PPR option. And I guess we could just finish out the draft. I don't know what's the point of skimming 2 rounds. We can do it quick.
Yeah, that's fine. Kelsey, then Lawrence and Mahomes, Rondell Robinson, Matt Stafford back to me. I'm going to follow up Kittle with a tight end, and I'm like kind of sketched out about the Jake Ferguson thing. Biggest stat I heard was he scored a lot of touchdowns, but he did it when CD Lamb was out, and he was not good when CD Lamb was in. So I'm going to follow up with the upside of Isaiah Likely.
Okay. Isaiah Likely. I don't mind that one at all.
And then after that was Ferguson, Quentin Johnston, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Then round 12 was Goff, Gadsden, and Purdy. And then I had either Jaden Reed or Stephon Diggs fall into my lap. I have neither team. I'll go Jaden Reed.
All right. Another guy. I think you took him last draft.
If I did, I do not remember.
You took him 9-4 last.
Wow.
So you got him 3 rounds later.
Big difference.
Yeah, definitely a big difference there. Also, just looking at some of these guys, I'm back on the clock. I said make this quick.
Yeah. So Diggs, Mason, Jones, Goddard, and Chris Rodriguez before you.
Yes. I was hoping for like a Stafford to fall to me just because of the Jackson Dart situation. But I'm taking Malik Willis. I'm taking the runner. We'll see what happens. I've said it before. And then at wide receiver, give me Matthew Golden. That feels like incredible value.
That does feel like good value for sure. Rashad White, Zach Charbonnet, Mark Andrews, Bo Nix, KC Concepcion, and then I'll go here and a couple of guys I've already taken further down. It honestly does not matter too much. Romeo Doubs, top of the board, get us out of here.
Yeah, real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on that, but you asked about Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
He went 8-3 in the ESPN draft compared to
10-6.
10-6. And then Matthew Golden, who I took round 13, he went I just saw him on the list and I'm forgetting it, where he went 9-8. So just some interesting names there. I'm sure there is more, but we'll throw them all in a Instagram carousel. So good plug to watch or follow us over there. But we got one more quick draft to do for you. This one will not take as long.
While I'm setting it up here, how did you feel the impact of the third round reversal? What do you think was the biggest thing about it?
I think for me, it didn't. I think pick 10 benefits greatly, especially when like JT falls to you at pick 10, and you get him and why am I blanking on my second round pick? Achane, right? Like those two guys. Maybe I blew the opportunity by taking a, McBride over a wide receiver. But, George Pickens, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins were kind of the next guys, and Nico Collins went all the way to round 4. So I don't mind that. But I do think if I was a few picks away from like Drake London falling to me. Like if that scenario, I could have walked out with Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, Drake London. Like that doesn't feel fair. So that's probably wouldn't be why we don't do third round reversals.
That makes sense. All right, I'm switching over. This is our new one. I have not started the draft yet, but what we're going to be doing here is we're going to sim the first 5 rounds, and then we are going to figure out what we have to do to save our teams beyond that. So when it gets to me, I just let auto pick.
All right. While this is reading, I'm trying to beeps off. But as George is managing the rounds, I can just read you the picks, and we'll try to get through this pretty quickly. But Bijan went 1. Jamar Chase went 2. Gibbons, or not Gibbons. Wow. Gather yourself. Gibbs went 3. Puka Nacua 4. Christian McCaffrey 5. Amon-Ra St. Brown 6. And Jigba 7. Taylor 8. CeeDee Lamb 9. And Achane 10. So just like I talked about, getting Taylor and Achane at the turn feels like good value. I've got Achane again in this team. So third draft in a row, I'm going to get Devon Achane at pick 10. Then following up round 2 was James Cook, Justin Jefferson, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Amarion Hampton. Ken Walker falls to George again. uh, Drake London, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown. Then, oh my gosh, round 3 is Nico Collins, Trey McBride, Rashee Rice, uh, Brock Bowers, Chris Olave, Jeremiah Love, Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, George Pickens, Josh Jacobs. Round 4, Malik
I
Neighbors.
can pick up here if you want to take a breath.
Okay.
Round 4 went Malik Neighbors and then Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Javonte Williams, Brees Hall, Tet McMillan. I ended up with Zay Flowers, then Devontae Smith, Cam Scattaboo, and Bucky Irving. And then the last auto pick round was round 5. Started with Lad McConkey, Luther Burden, Tyler Warren, Travis Etienne to me, and then Garrett Wilson, Emeka Buka, Colston Loveland, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams. And then I had to let one of the two Cody picks on the turn auto pick, and it was Drake May.
Yeah, I don't love that. Like, not even a little bit. Jeez.
Yeah, third quarterback off the board as he typically is. End of round 5, beginning of round 6, I think it's around where he usually goes. But with you only having Malik Neighbors in the wide receiver room and it making you take a quarterback to end round 5 is rough.
Yeah, I don't love that one, but we're gonna save this team here, and I'm gonna go for a guy that I'm not the highest on, but I talked like looking at the board. If I didn't know what my team was, I feel like David Montgomery would be a good pick here. I already have 3 running backs in a full PPR. Oh, brother, I was going to take DJ Moore, and I have James Cook, so now I'm tilting even more. This is driving me up a wall. Because I don't want Terry McLaurin, I don't want Jameson Williams to be my wide receiver. Maybe I want Scary Terry. Maybe that. I never feel like there's enough upside to take him. Like, he's just the guy I can never draft, but I need a wide receiver. Let me peek tight.
He feels like the guy that could fill that spot admirably if you get, the conditions are right. But I get it's just not exciting. DJ Moore would have been my favorite pick too, but yes.
Yeah, but I have James Cook.
Exactly. I wouldn't take him when you also have Cook.
Okay. I don't like it. I don't like this draft to start. I'll take Scary Terry.
His saving of this team starts in round 7, according to him.
Yes. Well, I'm going to pretend it was auto-picked.
Cool. So after the Terry McLaurin pick, it was Travion Henderson, Mike Evans, David Montgomery, and then 2 quarterbacks in Burrow and Daniels. So in this one, I had one early tight end, and I have Puka and Ken Walker, Zay Flowers, and Travis Etienne. So I'm balanced otherwise. So I can go wherever I want. DJ Moore still sitting here. Seems like a solid pick. I can also add that third running back and go Quinshon Judkins. That's kind of the 2 places I'm looking right now. Making sure I don't have any team discrepancies because I'm not. Since when you don't draft this team, it's got to double check things. DeAndre Swift also here, but I like McLaurin, I can't get on board with Swift, even though he's finished the top 24 running back every single year of his career.
Yeah, I definitely get on board with Swift more than I can Terry McLaurin, but I don't know. I just feel like the 2 times I've had Terry McLaurin, I see the thing I always see on X at one point during the season, maybe Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Terry McLaurin did a lot of cardio. 70 snaps, 0 targets. Like, I feel like there's always that Terry McLaurin game.
There is, for sure. I mean, I'm hoping them signing Diggs takes some pressure off and helps in whatever. I'm going to take DJ Moore here, and then I want to go to a fan question.
Yeah.
Philly Mike. Hey, fellas, quick question. I'm on 3rd in my draft, and these guys go quarterback first in a super flex. As far as I'm aware, it's going Josh Allen, Lamar, 1-2. What do I do? These guys are quarterback heavy.
Yeah, in a super flex, I always say make your first round pick a quarterback, especially when you're at the top. Losing out on the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson does sting.
I threw up on the screen the oh no, I didn't. I was on the wrong porch. That is the sleeper rankings at quarterback. I checked drafted so you can see how it is full. As much as like Cody wasn't happy about taking Drake May as the 3rd quarterback, maybe he's your guy. Would you tell him to go Burrow instead?
Nah, I mean, in a super flex, I'd probably. Mm, I think you could stick with Drake May. If you like Burrow better, I think that's fine. Uh, I think Drake May runs the ball just a tad bit more. It's not nothing crazy. Um, I don't know if I would go down to like the Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts just to get the running ability. So really, it's a coin flip for me between Drake May, Joe Burrow. But I would definitely take a quarterback at pick 3.
Yeah, I would definitely take a quarterback there too, especially. I mean, if Allen or Lamar fall to you, one of those two is a slam dunk. I would highly doubt it, and I would probably lean Drake May. But if you can convince yourself on Joe Burrow more, I think that would be the only other guy I would consider.
Yeah, and with you being the third pick, I would see how round 2 goes as well. Knowing that you're going to get to pick whether you're a 10-man league in 6 picks or 8 picks in a 12-man league, like I would not be afraid to double up a quarterback in a super flex. I think you can play the odds with how many people have taken a quarterback who didn't. But if there's still like a guy that's at the top of the list on your second round pick, I wouldn't hesitate to go 2 QBs.
Might feel like a bold strategy, but I don't mind it, especially if there's a couple other people going double QB, because there's going to be some solid guys left in the third round then, because you're at the top of it.
Yeah, and it's super flex. You're going to want to carry 3 quarterbacks.
Yes, and sometimes it's hard to find that third one.
Yeah, so don't get too carried away. Like, don't reach for a quarterback with your second pick again, because you're picking in 8 picks. Take one there if like one of the top receivers or running backs are still sitting there. But if you hit a point where like everybody that you thought was that you wanted to take is gone, I definitely okay moving on.
For sure. Okay, so he ended up with Joe Burrow. 4 was Hurts, 5 Mahomes, 6 Goff. So Mahomes a little early, but
yeah, Mahomes
okay.
definitely. Good luck. Let us know
Yeah.
who what your second round pick is too.
For sure. So I'm having a little bit of buyer's remorse on the DJ Moore, because after me went Quinshawn Judkins, Bayshel Tootin, Jalen Hurts, then DeAndre Swift, Jameson Williams, DK Metcalf, and I was really hoping that Judkins or Tootin or Swift would fall back to me, and they didn't. So now I sit in the case of I'm looking for a third running back in the 7th round, and I got Jadarian Price staring me again, as well as Jalen Moore and Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, Ramondre Stevenson. So honestly, it's not my normal strategy, but I kind of feel like I wait and I go running backs in round 8 and 9, and try to get more of those upside guys, like maybe Dobbins falls, Corum, Gainwell, etc.
Yeah, sounds like a good strategy. Waiting to see what you do here.
Yes. So I'm going to go back to wide receiver, and I'm going to peek at my team really quick. Go with Christian Watson, because I love the upside.
I hate how much you're in on Christian Watson now. It scares me.
Yeah, I figured that's kind of what you were waiting for, but I didn't take him just.
No, I got Josh Jacobs, man. I'm not taking another Packer.
Oh, that's true. You'd end up with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, so Brian Thomas, Rome Odunze went after that. Carnell Tate, Jadarian Price, Sam Laporta. I'm on the clock here. I mean, Tucker Kraft sitting at the top of the board. I would love that, but I already took a quarterback at round. Well, I didn't. The computer took a quarterback in round 5. I'm sitting here again, not loving these options at the different positions, and
this feels like a dead zone in the draft.
I mean, it just when you don't get to plan, which is why this exercise is so interesting. You don't get to plan out what you wanted. Like, I wouldn't have taken the 3 quarterbacks or the 3 running backs. I might have taken Jacobs and George Pickens, or I couldn't have done that. Sorry, wrong order. But I might have taken, not taken Jacobs and went like T. Higgins, Malik Neighbors, and then I can just be picking at this point. Like, I probably also wouldn't have taken Drake May, but that's a different conversation for me.
Yeah. So just to kind of jump in there too, like, I like some of the value we've gotten on guys like Allen, Lamar, Bowers, McBride, etc. But like, I think you feel it more when you get back to here, and it's like, I feel like my best pick right now is Tucker Kraft. I feel like my best pick right now is Kyle Pitts. I feel like my best pick right now is I was gonna say a quarterback, but I'm sketchy about Caleb Williams. But you know what I mean? Like these dead zone rounds, I feel like, yeah, cool. I can talk myself into a tight end a lot faster than I can talk into, I guess Marvin Harrison's probably your best upside pick, but how lucky is that?
Yeah, but you know what? Give me Maserati Marv. I'll just I'll just do it. I already hate
It
this
could
team.
work.
This is my least favorite draft so far of the three, probably because I didn't get to pick at the top. But again, can't complain too much. And I'm doing it. I'm taking Tucker. I don't care that I have two Packers. Call me a homer. I'll zoom out my camera. I don't whatever you need me to do, I'm doing it. I'm taking Tucker.
After Tucker Craft went Jalen Warren, Harold Fannin, RJ Harvey, Kyle Pitts, and Chuba Hubbard. And I am back on the clock. And Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, the top running backs left here. Honestly, it's still a little bit higher on the board than I expected it to be at this point. So I'm going to peek at the quarterback situation. Caleb Williams is technically a steal at this point because of how far he's fallen down by ADP. But I'd almost rather wait and grab Dak Prescott. So I'm going to take another high upside wide receiver, and I'm going to go Parker Washington.
Now, just for clear, going back to the ESPN draft, you still would have taken either Dak or Caleb higher than they went in that draft. So Caleb went in round 9, 9, 6. So you could take him here. I mean, or if you would have been able to take him here, it'd have been more completely. And then Dak Prescott went 8-4. So I guess that would have been the pick for you. But
yeah, so I'm not going to be able to get either now that I waited. So I think Sleeper was listening to me. Caleb Williams and Dak Prescott went right after me, and then Jordan Tyson. Round 9 started with Cortland Sutton, Ramondre Stevenson, Makai Lemon. So now I can go back and be like, can I convince myself to just take Jackson Dart? And honestly, decent upside pick there as well, and pretty far behind his ADP. I guess actually not that far behind, a couple of picks behind his ADP.
Yeah, and just Jackson Dart went 8-10 in ESPN. So what we thought was, different rankings for quarterbacks, that's still some good value. So I don't mind it.
I'm going to go there, and I'm going to play catch up on the running back over the next few rounds. So after me went Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Michael Wilson, Justin Herbert, and then Alec Pierce to Cody. Sorry, I cut you off.
Nope, you're good. I was just thinking about which wide receivers I wanted to take. I'm glad Michael Wilson didn't fall because I took Marvin Harrison. That would have just ate me alive. Wandale Robinson's an interesting name. Not a guy we've talked about a lot, but following Brian Daboll, could he be? Everyone assumes it's going to be Tate, but could the veteran, start out as the early wide receiver one? Jacoby Myers came in and was wide receiver one for Jacksonville, so that's another name. And I think I have to play it a little bit safer with all that. And since I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to take Chris Godwin. I really like Emeka Ibuka, but he's dealing with turf toe. Jalen McMillan didn't play barely at all last year, coming off the injury. Maybe he'll have a bounce back season, but no Mike Evans. So I'll take Chris Godwin there, and then I will take the random flyer on one Mr. Wandale Robinson as I dart throw this wide receiver room.
I mean, it's a starter he's a wide receiver too, probably in the 10th round. So it's not necessarily a bad pick.
That's assuming Carnell Tate just takes off as a rookie.
That's fair. He could end up being the wide receiver one. After Wandale, you had Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, J.K. Dobbins, Michael Pittman, Dalton Kincaid. Not having J.K. Dobbins fall down to me hurts. Also having George Kittle fall down to me still also hurts. This is rough. I have to catch up at running back. I'm still now in round 10 with only 2, and it's Walker and ETN. And I think Walker and ETN are both solid, but I need to get myself probably 3 more throws at a guy who has a shot over the next 4 rounds. So I'm going to start it off with Blake Corum, because I think even with Kyron there, he could have value.
Yeah, that was the no-brainer pick for me.
Yep.
After that was Jacoby Myers, Kyle Monangai, George Kittle, followed by Travis Kelce. So old man tight ends back to back. Matt Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, and George is back on the clock. Which running back are you taking this time?
Jonathan Brooks feels like another guy that stands out to me, but I've heard some good things about one Mr. Kenny Gainwell being involved in the passing game, not only in the running game, and he could be used pretty creatively. So I'm going to take the shot on that.
Don't mind that one. After all, Bill Krosky Merritt went next, followed by Josh Downs, Patrick Mahomes, Jake Ferguson, Isaiah Likely, and I am on the clock for 2. And I was going to take Aaron Jones just because I took Jordan Mason, so why not take Aaron Jones? I'll still do that. I mean, I could take Jonathan Brooks here because I've taken him before, but I'll take Aaron Jones, be a little bit different. Going to look back at who's all available, and maybe I still will take Jonathan Brooks here and call it a day. I think I will.
Don't hate that with just rounding out your running back room they haven't touched for a while.
Since the first 3 picks.
Exactly. But if you're going to take 3 with the first 3 picks, that's the way to do it, is to catch up everywhere else and then just take your late round stabs because those top 3 are probably going to be solid. After you was Purdy, and then Diggs and Jaden Reed, Andre Gadsden, and Jordan Mason. Yeah.
That good, huh?
That good. In the spirit of trying to take stabs at running backs that have a shot to be very good, I'm going with the chance that Chris Rodriguez is the starter in Jacksonville.
I like that. I was debating him as well. After you was Rachaad White, Casey Concepcion, Bo Nix, and then we're on round 13, our last and final round of this mock draft mini series. We called it mini mocks, but we didn't do anything shorter.
There was nothing mini about it.
Mini mockathon is what this turned into. Khalil Shakur, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, and George, you're back on the clock with your final pick of the night.
Shout out Tank Dell.
Shout out Tank Dell. I like it. Romeo, nope. Jared Goff, Zach Charbonnet, then Romeo Dobbs, followed by Matthew Golden, Tyler Algier, and I get to make Mr. Irrelevant. So let's do another flyer on another player. Let's see. We'll go to the wide receiver position, go a little bit late round. Flyer, let me scroll down here. Oh, man, that guy's been getting some buzz. Do I just do it? I think I'm going to.
Last pick. Give us a couple of the names you're looking at just to throw some names out there for late round flyers for people.
I took Jacoby Lane.
Okay.
The guy that's getting all the buzz in the Ravens camp. I was going to take Wicks again, but I took Lane instead. But yeah, there's the draft board. So what are your thoughts as we wrap?
Yeah. This team was definitely the roughest, but honestly, some of those high upside picks at the end could be fine.
Did you see this?
What?
On Sleeper now, if you look closely, they give you some feedback on some of the players. Not all of them, but like my team says I reached on Rondell Robinson. If you see the little reach symbol, it says Sam Laporta was a steal. Those are the only 2 that stuck out to me, but that's an interesting feature on Sleeper. Sorry, that completely derailed what your line of thought was, but something I had to point out.
No, you're good. I mean, honestly, I forgot to change it to the new draft board on the last draft. So we did one on the old draft board, one on the new draft board. But that is interesting. When it comes to this, yeah, I think this was definitely more rough, but I like the idea of flexing the brain to like see how we can fix if we have a rough start, because even if we know what we want to go into the draft doing, sometimes you just flop the first 4 rounds and you're like, I don't know what to do now, or you do something absolutely wild. So
no, I've definitely been in drafts. I think even 2 years ago in the league of record, I ended up going three running backs, Jalen Hurts, to start the draft, and was like, I can't believe I just did that. But the players just fell that way. Like I couldn't get a wide receiver, and I had to deal with it. So I think this was a good exercise too. And if you want to try this exercise, or you try it, or there's a different exercise you want us to try, whether it's this year, next year, or down the road, we'd love to hear it.
Definitely. And I think the other big thing I learned, do a couple extra mocks on your platform that you're going to be doing your draft on, just because you see how different it is. And I guess one third thing is if you're in a third round reversal, I like those late round picks.
Yeah, I think that's good. Obviously, know which platform you're going to do the rankings, but I think on the verse, do some that aren't, you have different rankings, and see, like, kind of be like, oh, this is where some players view this player, and how early, like, you take them in different drafts. So, like, in ESPN, a guy might have been really high, and on Sleeper, which is what you're going to draft, he's going much lower. But now that you've seen him in other places being higher, you feel better about that mid-round pick in that dead zone that there's as many guys that you are as ecstatic about. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I only feel slightly overwhelmed here.
Yeah, I feel like we went back and forth, a little inside baseball, and if you made it this far, you get to hear the inside baseball thing. We went back and forth because we were going to have to join the lobby and not have as much control. If we should just do it offline and then just talk about our results. And in hindsight, I think that might have been a little bit better. One, it would have shortened the episode a little bit too, but I felt like there was like so much stimulation of trying to let the people that are listening to this in their car know what was happening while trying to make your pick in 30 seconds. So hopefully you made it through that one. And this is also a good reminder, if you were only, and if you made it, you already listened to these two, but if you want to go back and check any of them out in the next few days, over the next couple of weeks, these individual drafts will go up on the Couch GM's YouTube as clips. So make sure you like and subscribe over there.
Definitely. And also check out my mini series that's coming out over the next week with draft strategies, because that'll at least maybe even come up with a couple of things. I'm doing some of the like more common ones first, but maybe give you some ideas of like ways to build your team that are not ways that you usually build them.
No, definitely check that out. More content coming this season. We are getting so close to the start of it as we get closer and closer to 2 episodes a week. Last word, George. Anything else?
No. Make sure you're subscribed to for next week, because Kempy is going to try to knock us off of our draft strategies again, which I think I'm kind of glad that you convinced me to do this episode before the one next week, because I feel like now Kempy can't throw a whole lot at us that won't be like, what the heck is that? And now he's going to prove me wrong.
And I think we agreed to give him even more power this year. So turning the draft over to him, that should be a lot of fun, throwing us for loops. Make sure you're checking it out. We got 2 more mock draft episodes. Then George and I will do our season predictions, and then we're back. NFL season 2 times a week. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, joining us live currently 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We'd love to have you in the conversations. We helped out Mike in his draft, and we can help out you as well. But until next week, I'm Cody Roadcap. That's George Kurth, and we'll talk to you all then.